Professor Dave is a moron. So, Professor Dave got into an internet fight with Warren Smith. And Warren Smith is very confused about what Professor Dave is saying. So, from what I can tell right now, this is recorded May 6th, 2025. So, Professor Dave said, "No, you're a moron, blah, 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 blah." And the closest thing to a coherent point I'm going to discuss right now. And Warren Smith, pointed out all his bizarre points. But the meat of it is this bizarre, wild argument. Let's just ignore the whole, you're saying this thing, which he's obviously not saying. No, let's focus on the closest thing to a legitimate argument I can think of over the last decade of trans politics about why people should include trans people in the category of women. Okay, are you ready? Okay. Because there's inconclusive research about neuroanatomy or something, where people are born with or develop a different neuroanatomy, because Professor Dave is really bad at this and he doesn't really factor into account the formation of the human brain after you're born, which is, I don't know why he doesn't factor that in. He just doesn't. But let's say that you factor in neuroanatomy development in utero and neuroanatomy development post being born and whatever. Let's say, for the sake of argument, and this is excluding intersex people, let's assume that there is a neuroanatomical reason for trans people to perceive themselves as trans. Perfectly valid assumption, yeah, but it's perfectly valid to assume that transness has a biological root and a biological origin. Okay, so your gender identity can be defined based on a biological factor. Okay. That doesn't magically turn your gender identity into a category for gender. It's as if, imagine you were born with a mutation that lets you perceive red as a type of blue. Okay, if less than 1%, let's say it's a ridiculous number, let's say it is 1% of the population, have the exact same mutation, maybe you see red as a type of cyan or whatever, and someone brainwave figures it out that red is blue in your head. Okay. If 1% of the population see the color red as blue, the color blue itself red doesn't magically become a category of the color blue. Blue is a specific thing that we understand. That's gender. That's not personal gender identity. That doesn't make any sense. The color blue is the color blue. We identify and we decide. It's like if someone constantly wants to correct people about the meaning of the word woke, ignoring the last decade of politics. The word woke might have meant one thing back before 2015 happened, but Zoe Quinn exploited Robin Williams' death to sell her game, then said, no, guys, I'm gonna give the money to charity. Then she didn't give the money to charity, and then people called her out, and she said, no, guys, I meant this other charity. Then she went after an unrelated, out of nowhere, some random women's charity without doing basic due diligence of asking any of her reporter friends to ask why there's a rule where trans people have to be out in the first month, by the first month of the thing, and it was like a stupid thing because blah, 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 blah. And then people start talking about ethics in game journalism, access media in game journalism, starting from Zoe Quinn, the psychopath, the narcissist, the bitch. She is a narcissistic bitch. And absolutely nobody fucking believes her as any type of competent person, and we're all calling bullshit on that guy that killed himself who used to date her. Her claims about the guy who killed himself. It's theoretically possible, but doesn't make any sense. I think it was debunked to the ass end of the planet, fucking Zoe Quinn. But we fucking know what we use the word woke for. It doesn't matter what it used to mean. Woke means toxic left wing. Blue means a color we all understand with specific properties. Gender is a specific thing. It's a label we use to define a certain category. Trans women are not women. They are completely different from women. They are their own category of gender. It's not difficult to understand this. Pretending like trans women should be in the category of women is nonsense. No, they shouldn't. The language is annoying. The fucking rules people want to put up in various places are stupid. We don't want this, and there's nothing transphobic about not wanting to randomly redefine giant chunks of everything we have been doing for centuries, because all of a sudden the toxic political people in charge of the left wing decided that they represent trans people, and their toxic trans activist friends represent all trans women by definition, and all trans women have to be seen as women right now and be given ridiculous privileges that have absolutely fuck all to do with us being fucking respectful. It's not respectful to randomly give someone the privilege of attending some all-chick university because someone is trans. It's not respectful to include trans women in locker rooms. It's not respectful to pretend like because some people in some cultures are fine with having trans chicks in chicks' bathrooms, all people have to be fine with that. That's a completely cultural thing. These are not things that just shapeshift according to your will. You have a political standpoint where you want us to change the language to fit your specific niche, inconclusive interpretation of what a trans woman is. You have neither proven what a trans woman is, nor really thought about it properly, nor does your explanation necessitate us doing this. You are completely ignoring reality. That's not how language works. If I say, they is a stupid pronoun, it annoys me, it should be something like at to Brutus, like at wrath. That does not magically make me a transphobe. This is a clear, obvious, in-your-face fact that any idiot should understand, but you are pretending like you don't understand that no, language is not subordinate to your personal biological definition of a thing, and this biologist or that professor over there, no, they don't have to agree with you. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck? How the fuck does your brain work? You didn't win. You have not presented a decent argument. There is no decent argument to be made. We know what you're saying, and what you're saying is stupid.